I've always thought that if someone really pee me off I'd coat the top of their ceiling fan with glitter. Reddit, what's your most devious plan for revenge? I once saw in another thread about a guy who put up signs around town that said we'll give $300 to whoever has the best Chewbacca impression and left his friend's phone number. I'm pulling this on my roommate tomorrow. Seriously. Put their phone number in a fake pizza ad and post flyers all over a college campus. Say something like 2XL pizzas for $10 and 24 hours delivery service. Give them 2 weeks before they have to change their number. This is gold. It can be done with other numbers too. Just imagine an entire campus of flyers for the different services with the same number. Spray regular dish soap in the dishwasher. It dries so they can't see it and will make the dishwasher fill and overflow with foam. No permanent damage, a little cleanup, but gives the person a WTF moment. Did this to myself inadvertently once. Upside was my kitchen floor was spotless once I had mopped up that mess. For enemies with pools, every night go to his/her house and drop a balled up candy bar in the shape of a pleasant poo in the bottom of the pool. They will at first approach it with precaution, but upon learning the game will begin to simply pick the suspicious candy out by hand. After a while, crap in the pool. 60% of the time, it works every time. I had a neighbor who was always acting like he owned the block. One day after he decided to call the cops on my friends for skating in my driveway, I decided that enough was enough. That night, I covered his entire lawn in powdered milk. The next morning, I came out to see him trying to uprake the cottage cheese he'd just made. It's been my go-to retaliation ever since. My enemy will have cottage cheese front steps. Thank you kindly. This is the longest lasting prank that I know of. No matter how many times you sweep, vacuum, mop, Roomba, or tribal dance, this crap will never be gone. My cousin did this to me 2 freaking years ago and I'm still cleaning up glitter. At a past place of employment, a young girl in a very fancy dress, with lots of yellow-orange glitter in and on it, came in. She didn't do much. No jumping, running, playing, etc. She was just there in the dress. Months later, we could still see yellow glitter on the tile floor. It always made me giggle. A friend of mine, a science major of some sort at Boston College, took his revenge by stealing a supply of roach pheromones from the lab and spraying it around the apartment of his nemesis. Apparently, every male roach in a 50-mile radius showed up for the party. That is freaking terrible. I might seriously freaking murder that person. One of my flatmates has been pretty bad lately. She's fairly superstitious, so I've bought an old Furby. I'm going to put it in the roof space above her room and wire it so when the lights are turned off, 10 minutes later the Furby turns on. Sweet dreams bee. You should get another Furby and place them in front of each other so they talk. I once got back at my neighbor for TPing my place. He doesn't lock his house, so for 2 years I pooped in his toilet and never flushed. When I finally confessed, he was so relieved, thought he had been sleep pooping and was seriously considering seeing a doctor. His response, "I always flush." He waited 2 years for me to retaliate, not realizing that I was retaliating the whole time. This guy's thinking long term with a splash of psychological damage. I like it. Sponges. Get several sponges. The fluffier the better. When I say several I mean, stock up on those. Get the sponges wet and use some string to tie them up into small sponge balls. When they dry you should be able to take the string off and they stay in that position. When leaving for the last time, flush those down the toilet. Sweet sweet revenge. Good for office buildings too. You are way too dangerous to be let outside. Back in boarding school, a lot of men and women went to boarding schools in our country. It was like alive in high school. I had a roommate that thought it was hilarious to flip my dresser upside down. So when I wake up in the morning and pull out one of the drawers to get dressed, my clothes would fall on the ground. Not the funniest thing ever, but it was enough to get a laugh out of me. Either way, the kid wore out the novelty of the joke. This started getting old. It was annoying. What I did to combat it was clever. Since this is Soviet era furniture, and the designers had no imagination, it was a metal rectangle shaped dresser with wheels on the bottom. The only way to tell if it was upside down was if the wheel end was up. I took the wheels off the bottom and screwed them in on the top. When my roommate came back, he immediately noticed his dresser with the wheel side up. He said I'm too clever to fall for this, my name. So he flipped it over. The next morning as we're getting dressed for our first class, he pulls open a drawer and all of his clothes fall on the floor. TLDR. Practical joke. The carpet cherry bomb. Had a friend that dealt with an evil landlord. There were many situations that warranted retaliation, but they were powerless until it was time to move out. They sprinkled cherry Kool-Aid on the light tan carpets. It starts almost white in color and is a non-visible powder on the floor. They move out. The landlord goes to shampoo the carpets. Once the water hits the floor, it stains bright Kool-Aid red as the cleaner sweeps across the floor. Pure evil retaliation that should only be used in extreme cases. The carpet cherry bomb. Sign them up for every mailing list and catalog. The pornier the better you can find. They'll be getting calls from every double glazing firm and dodgy financial advisor within a 20-mile limit. Related story. In high school, some girls who were in our youth group really ticked us off. They would constantly try to prank us by saying stupid stuff and window paint on our cars. So a group of us guys got really fed up one time. They made it so we could almost not even see out of our windows, and we knew we had had enough. We went to the store, bought duct tape, 4 cans of Axe, and as much glitter as we could carry. Seriously, this was a ton of glitter. We drove by their house, sisters, and as expected, they left their door unlocked. Success. Step 1 was glittering the seats. Done. Glitter was everywhere. Step 2. Glitter in the air vents. Done. Glitter would continue to be everywhere. Step 3. Duct tape the Axe cans on full blast. Throw them into the car like live grenades. And get out of there. Oh, and we wrote one word on the car in window paint. Stop. My friend egged and peanut buttered my car. Long story. Anyway, to get back at him, I found out that his car was parked at a bowling alley. My bud and I went over to exact revenge. First we had packing peanuts, which we filled his car up with to about stomach level if you were sitting down. We also took mustard and spread it all over his ventilation intake. We were going to leave his gas tank open and spill some sugar on the ground to make it look like we poured it in his tank, but I think we decided against it. We put fluff under his door handles. By far the best part though was that we took a bunch of flour and dumped it into his defroster vents, the ones that are right at the bottom of the windshield, and then used the manual controls. It was a Jeep Cherokee, and turned on the defrost setting with the maximum fan speed. We decided we had to witness his reaction, and there happened to be a higher level parking lot with a ledge overlooking. We stood and waited for the victims to exit the bowling alley. Once he got to his car, the amount of cussing while he felt the fluff and noticed all the packing peanuts was hilarious enough. Then after he shoveled enough of them out to sit in the driver's seat, he jumped into the car and turned the ignition only to be greeted by a cloud of flour. He went back inside and punched my informant in the face. Fun times. I hope you made up for the informant, poor guy. Get a whole bunch of those tiny little styrofoam packing balls, the real tiny ones. Gain access to the victim's car. Funnel as many as you can into all of the aircon vents. Set everything to max so when he turns the car on, instant snow globe. I may have to do this one. Hide bits of raw shrimp throughout their house, apartment, room, car. Shrimp will start to rot in a couple days, and few things smell worse than rotten shrimp. If you make the pieces small and hide them well, they might never actually find them all. Then it'll only stop smelling once the shrimp has decomposed completely, which can take a while. I saw a story on here, and I might be remembering it wrong, about someone who stashed a frozen fish under the car seat of one of his friends. Turns out the friend was on vacation or something in the summer, so he didn't find it until he got back, and by then the car was saturated in soggy rotting fish smell. Get into their room late at night. Place a dozen lawn gnomes around their room all staring directly at them, and then place a speaker by their head. Play a pre-recorded MP3 of soft whispers. Tape their reaction and put it on Facebook. Extra points for coating the lawn gnomes in blood. My old co-worker used to tape the bottom of my mouse a lot and crack himself up laughing. So one day, I filled the cap of his hand sanitizer with black ink. Just minutes after he returns from lunch, I hear him screaming with laughter as he runs past my workstation with black ink to his elbows. That made work so great for the next month. I once had a college roommate that wouldn't stop eating my food. I asked him countless times. He continued. The last straw was him eating all the Thanksgiving leftovers I brought back from home. To get back at him, I mixed a ton of laxatives into all these beverages I bought and this cake I baked. It took him about a week and several doctor's visits to figure out what was happening. My cousin did that to buttholes who kept stealing his lunch at school. He ended up getting suspended for poisoning his own food. Worth it. I had my sandwiches stolen all high school long. It wasn't a bully thing. I was big and athletic. It was friends of mine being douches because their moms couldn't make sandwiches worth a jank. I ignored it for 4 years. At first I told myself it was minor. One bite here or there, who cares? It'll tear around the edges and say frick you father. But after a while it got annoying. And when I started lifting and wanting to count my calories, it became downright rumpus worthy. But I said no, RT, no, your time will come. Flash forward, New Orleans, May 2005, pre-Katrina. I'm there for my godbrother's graduation at Tulane. We have days to wander the quarters. Bombing around on the trolley, I happen upon the French Market, an outdoors New Orleans spice fest. Eventually I happen upon the hot sauce store. Know the store that sells sauce, some hot. The hot sauce store. Bottles are arranged in descending order from biggest to smallest, and cheapest to priciest. You know which corner I am going for already. I find it at the far end of the rack. $12 for a wicked looking the size of a hotel shampoo. I buy it. I wait. Last day of school. Last class. Everyone chilling. Nobody paying good old RT any attention. I bring out the goods. An Italian hoagie with lettuce and tomato. Fresh from home. I slather it with the sauce. Place the hoagie in a Ziploc. In a plastic Publix bag. And noisily leave it on my desk as I leave for the bathroom. Adrenaline rush. I know who's in there. My friend from 9th grade. The only other white kid on our basketball team. Will surely wrinkle at this. He is far and away the douchiest douche in school. How we stayed friends so long is nothing less than kooky bro quantum entanglement. I hate him. 10 sweaty minutes pass and I decide to re-enter. Result, I am greeted by 7 teary-eyed, coughing, spitting, cursing, red-faced red-handed girls included, who are alternating between hacking up and giving me the finger. They bull rush past me for the water fountains. The class is senior high school, psychology honors. The teacher is from Louisiana and doesn't even particularly like me. He is dying lodging. I walk out the door, having reached absolute 0 Kelvin of fricks given. TL. DR. Epic blistertong. 0 Kelvin of fricks given. New catchphrase. I signed my friend up for a bunch of gay dating sites a few years back. The profile cub looking for a bear got a lot of responses. He is also still a member of a gay and lesbian film society. He can't figure out why he keeps getting this stuff. I keep renewing the memberships. 6 years and counting. Someone I know filled his friend's living room with blown up balloons. When his friend burst them all in anger, the glitter he put in them went everywhere. Would love to have seen his face. I am just so angry that my room is filled with colorful balloons. Not just a plan. I did this. Buy some 7-Eleven style crappy P magazines. Also buy some cigarettes and a black grease pencil. And the P mags must be crappy, horrible stuff. Not Penthouse, not Hustler, but the weird crap that they sell discount at 3 for $10 in shrink wrap. Possibly from the UK. On the front of each magazine, write thinking of you in grease pencil. Meticulously go through every single page and, using the cigarettes, burn out the eyes, mouths, and cooties of every woman in the magazine. Every single one. Even the ones in the crappy ads for 900 numbers. This will take you about 15 cigarettes for a 36-page magazine. Write misspelled pejoratives on random pages. S, whore, fuck you, etc. Mail one of them to your target. No return address. A month later, mail them another. Rinse, repeat, until they decide to move. I have done this to 2 very bad neighbors. The longest one lasted 4 months, and broke his apartment lease to GTFO. What the flying frick? I will hide an alarm under their floorboards, set for 5 AM, to go off for 10 minutes every morning. The sound will be of screaming and snarling dogs, covered in radio static. They will be confused and annoyed, but too tired to find the alarm, and it will just keep happening every morning. Or the sound of a beating heart. Dude I know parked in my only visitor parking spot in a small apartment, but he didn't ask and just used it to park while he went to a bar with a girl. Anyways, we were having people over and it made it a hassle to get parking. So me and my roommate take a condom, put a little bit of cornstarch and mixed in a few drops of milk to give it a good thick white consistency. We slapped that condom on his windshield and it kind of leaked down his windshield. Mind you, the parking space is in the dark back alley downtown. Our apartment window looked right down onto the parking spot. We waited until later that night when he came back. He got in the car, then immediately jumped out with a disgusted look on his face, grabbed a branch from a bush and flicked the condom away, got in the car with his girl and drove off. 2 weeks later I bumped into him and told him I saw his car at my place a few weekends ago. He said, I parked there and I came back and some sick homeless left a used condom on my windshield. I had to find a 24-hour car wash at 3 AM. I just laughed. I kinda want to buy cornstarch now. It wasn't me, but a friend had some trouble with a fired co-worker sending him email daily complaining that she got fired. He was second in command at the office. He signed up her email to every website he could find, including some P and other questionable marketing sites. The emails magically stopped in about a day. A local Mexican place I like has this ridiculously spicy habanero pepper sauce. I'd like to see what would happen if I mixed some of that into the laundry detergent of someone I really didn't like. Either nothing or some epic burning bunghole. The soap would break up the capsicum oil. Better to do it in air conditioner. Had a friend that did this in college. It's called the TOD. TOD stands for Trash Can of Death. 1. Acquire a city trash bin, like the huge plastic green ones with wheels. 2. Keep in your backyard. The hotter outside and more directly in sunlight the better. 3. Anything nasty you have, anything at all, put it in the TOD. Go to crap in the TOD. Go to pee in the TOD. Sour milk? TOD. CM. TOD. Rotten eggs? TOD that crap. 4. Once the TOD is about half full, fill it another fourth of the way with water. Grab a big stick. Stir that crap up. Caution, you will vomit. 5. Let sit. 6. Take to house of person you hate. Lean the TOD up against the door. Ring the doorbell. Run like heck. Victim opens door. TOD falls in the house. TOD spills everywhere, unleashing its fury into the home of your enemy. Victim has to evacuate and have house fumigated for weeks. Glitter-based things are the best. I propose glitter in all of their car air vents. If you can, when the car is parked, pour all the glitter in, point the vent toward the driver's side, then turn all the dials to maximum. So when they start the car, foomph. That would most likely cause severe eye scratching. Glitter at that speed would be quite dangerous. Cut the labels from tuna cans and place them on cat dog food cans. The cans are the same size. Send them snippets of cobwebs and hair. Burnt bugs are creepy also. I read this in a post about pranks once. The guy said to get white paint and shrimp, and to mash the shrimp until the shrimp is not too visible. Then you paint the victim's room, and after a while, the most rank, low-tide smell will pervade the deepest crevice of your mind for the rest of your life. I was on a bus once. I overheard a conversation where they were talking about how they hid a fish down the side of a sofa as retaliation for something. Fish down sofa. Unscrew the faceplates on a couple of outlets in obscure places. Ones behind the couch or dressers are great. In the little box in there, put something that smells now, or something that smells later. Seafood meets both of these requirements if you are interested. Replace the faceplate. When your victim cleans their cat's litter box, everyone has a cat, right? Sneak into their house at the end of every day and steal the cat's daily deposit. Do this for about a month, causing them to think their cat may be constipated. Finally, take a dump in the litter box. Eat lots of fiber and Taco Bell. You can take one of the round 50-gallon trash cans and lean it up on someone's front door. Get a water hose and fill it up. Ring the doorbell and run. Sign them up for as many free ringtone sites as possible using their number. Pretty much phone stees. Or, I'm not sure how, but switch off their internet whenever you like, preferably when they're using it. When I was a younger gay, I became embroiled in a drag queen turf war. A lot of people died that year. One queen in particular had it out for me, and every Thursday night she would end her set by walking onto my table, and then kicking over my drink. Every Thursday, that is until the night I unscrewed the tabletop and that bee dang near broke her neck. Like I said, people died that year. Friend of mine, brilliant, kind of twisted, guy, he had this idea for ruining someone's life. He called it the roach bomb, and it was more or less what the title suggests. You start with a shoebox, duct tape, couple common cockroaches from around your house, and a big butt spoonful of peanut butter. You put the roaches, 4-5 would probably be ideal, in the box with the peanut butter and wrap it tight with duct tape. You don't want them escaping. Find a nice, warm, secure spot for the box. It'll be living there a while. Every week or so, pick up the box and give it a shake. You should theoretically feel more and more roaches in the box as time passes due to them feeding and reproducing. Ultimately, you want this thing to mature until there is hardly any free space left, but a half-full box will still get the point across. When it's ready, take off the tape and put it in some nice wrapping paper. Mail it to the poor bastard who is about to have his life ruined. Ideally, this guy will be standing when he opens the bomb and, in his shock at discovering the box is brimming with live roaches, he drops it. Boom, they erupt from the box and scatter. This guy's house is fricked. His clothes and furniture are ruined, completely infested, and he is sad. The roach bomb. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.